Hello students and welcome to the third video lesson of chapter 7, Diversity in Living Organisms. In this lesson we are going to talk about two and the last two divisions of plant kingdom, that is Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Before this, let us recall what we have learned so far in this chapter. By looking at the pictures, can you guess these belongs to which division? The first picture is of Cara, which is a member of Thelophyta. The second shows Markentia, a member of Bryophytes. Remember, these are the amphibians of plant kingdom. They are called as amphibians of plant kingdom. And the third is the true terrestrial plant, land habitat plants called Pteridophyta. So we see with the evolution or with the time, plants move from aquatic to land habitat. With this evolution, some other gradual changes occurs in plant as well. Plant slowly becomes smaller to higher plants. They developed advanced features, and one such feature is seed production. In higher plants, there is the production of seeds. Unlike Pteridophyta, Bryophyta, and Thallophyta, they reproduce by the means of spores. So let us see what is a seed first. Dear students, now look at this beautiful picture. It shows the germination of seeds into a new seedling, and the seedling grows into new plant under favorable conditions. But what is there inside a seed that grows in a new plant? It is actually embryo, which is also called future plant. This embryo need nutrition, and hence there is a nutritious substance present inside the seed also, which is called cotyledon. Cotyledon. This yellow structure, this yellow large surface area stores food and nourish the embryo. Cotyledons are also known as seed leaf. Cotyledons are also known as seed leaf. The embryo and cotyledons are protected by a tough outer covering which is called seed coat. Now, after learning about seed and its structure, let us see what are the objectives of today's video. Today, you will be able to understand how evolution helps organisms to adapt and survive. Second, you all will be able to classify and differentiate plants into category of flowering and non-flowering. Thirdly, by observing the vegetative structures and parts of plants, you can identify between monocots and dicots. Let us start the video lesson. All the plants that bear flowers and seeds are put under a separate subkingdom, that is Phanerogam. This Phanerogam is having diverse group of plants which bears beautiful flowers and seeds. They also have a very high advanced vascular system for the conduction of water and minerals and transportation of food. Being a very diverse group, so scientists have further classified phanerogams under two divisions, gymnosperms and angiosperms, on the basis of whether the seeds present in them are naked or enclosed inside the ovary or fruit. Now look at this picture, student. A picture of pine forest. You all can see these greeny, woody, tall trees. They are found in northern and Himalayan regions. Moving to next picture, here you can see a Dioda tree, which looks like a pine tree. It is also woody, having lots of branches, leaves, and a well-developed vascular systems. So plants showing such characteristics falls under a new division, that is division Gymnosperms. Actually, Gymnosperms forms from two words, gymno and sperma. Gymno meaning naked and sperma means seed. So we can say these species have naked seed. This picture we have already learned that these trees are evergreen, woody, and perennial. What are these terms? Perennial means the tree which live for long period of time. We have one such tree known. It is the oldest gymnosperm, Bristol pine. It is the oldest species of gymnosperm. And gymnosperms are evergreen. They remain green throughout their life and they are woody. Moving to next feature, that they are primitive and simple seed plants. Basically, gymnosperms as compared to angiosperms, which we are going to learn in next slide, shows features which are not advanced. That is why they are called primitive. Moreover, the reason of being primitive is that they do have vascular system, but they lack some component of vascular system. For example, xylem lacks vessels. If you remember, we have learned in chapter tissue that xylem has four components: xylem parenchyma, xylem fiber, vessels, and tracheids, which all are meant for conduction of water and minerals. But gymnosperm species lacks vessels. Similarly, in case of phloem also has four components, but it lacks the companion cells. The next interesting features about gymnosperm is that they are generally xerophytes. Xerophyte meaning they require less amount of water to grow. Here are some examples of gymnosperm, Cycas and Pinus. The picture which you can see in this slide shows corn of a pine tree. These are the corn. Basically, inside these cones, there are seeds. Let us observe this closely first. Here you can see the picture of corn. These cones has these scaly leaves, scaly woody leaves, and between these scaly woody leaves, there is seed. This is scaly leaf, and these are seeds. When the cone dries, the seeds comes out from the cone. Let us see the picture of some gymnosperms. This is Spinous. We have already seen, And this picture you usually found in your school premises or in your garden. This is cycas, a gymnosperms. Here you can see in both these pictures their leaves are like needle like structures. So one more important characteristic is that gymnosperms usually have needle like leaves. Being xerophytic, they require less amount of water, so reducing the size of leaf helps in preventing loss of water. Now, moving to the next division under Phanerogams. Look at these beautiful flowers. This makes our nature very beautiful and amazing. All the plants that bear flower and produces seeds inside the ovary comes under the category of angiosperm. Angiosperm, angio, break the term. Angio means covered. Sperma means seed. So basically their seeds are covered inside the ovary or fruit, which we will see and learn shortly. Now, these angiosperms are the most advanced and beneficial group of plants. They grow in various habitats as trees, shrubs, herbs, climbers, bushes. They also comprises about 80% of the green plant known to us. So all the green plants in this earth, the percentage of angiosperms in them is 80%. Moving to the flower part. As I am keep saying that seeds are enclosed inside the ovary. Seeds are enclosed inside the fruit. So what I am talking about? Listen carefully. Actually, when the flowers get fertilized, then the ovules present inside this ovary develop into seed, and the ovary as well as the other flower parts develop into fruit. So the fleshy and juicy part that we eat of an apple is basically an ripened ovary, a mature ovary. And the seeds, these brown seeds, are the mature ovule after the fertilization. Okay, I am writing here ovule turns into seed after fertilization, and this fleshy, juicy part, that is a part of an ovary. That is why we said that angiosperms enclosed seeds inside the ovary. Moving to some other interesting characteristics of angiosperms. Angiosperms are called flowering plants because they are the only genera or the group of species bears flowers, unlike Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and Gymnosperms. And these plants are very advanced, they are highly evolved. Why I am saying they are highly evolved? Because they have a very prominent advanced vascular tissue system, unlike gymnosperms. Gymnosperms do have vascular system, but they lack some components. But they don't. They have all the components inside them. Third characteristics we have already learned, and the fourth one we have covered this earlier, that inside this seed, what is there? Inside this seed there is a future plant which is called embryo. This embryo grows inside the seed with the help of some reserved food and cotyledons. Cotyledons are basically the seed leaf. Here you can see these are cotyledons. And in this picture you can see a very diverse group of angiosperms. Moving to the next slide. Student, as I said, angiosperm is a very diverse group. So scientists has classified it again to make its study better and easier. Angiosperms are divided into monocots and dicots. Sometimes they are called monocotyledons. Monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Mono means single, one, and cotyledons means seed leaf. Like in this picture, you can see a diagram of maize having one cotyledon. Dicot, di means two, cotyledons means seed leaf. So in case of rajma or kidney beans, in case of peas, mutter, we see that the seed split into two halves. That means it has two cotyledons. So it comes under the category of dicotyledon. So here you can see again in this picture as well, monocot, a monocot is there, maize, and here we have a dicot. So students, in if I talk about the examples of monocot, so usually all the grass family, maize and wheat family, they comes under the category of monocots because they bear single cotyledon seed. Whereas in case of dicot, there is a large variety of plants. We see almonds, right? Cashew nut, rajma, or we call it kidney beans, gram, peas, and many more. So they comes under dicot. So what you can do is you can go to your kitchen and take help from your mother and try to segregate grains or fruits into the category of dicot and monocot. Moving next, so there's an interesting thing. Instead of looking at the seed, what you all can do is you can look the vegetative parts of plant and may also identify whether it is monocot or dicot. Let us see how. The monocot leaf, this is a monocot leaf, student. Okay, basically you can take grass when you visit park or ground. Okay, so in grass you will see the long parallel lines which goes up and down. These parallel lines are called veins. Okay, whereas you have seen some leaves like guava leaves, bougainvillea leaves, they do have veins, but veins are scattered and they form a particular network like structure. So these type of veins are called reticulate veins. Here let me just write parallel veins. So monocot leaf shows parallel venation and dicot shows reticulate venation. Reticulate means network like veins. Now let's move to the roots of monocot and dicot. So in this picture you can see a taproot and fibrous root. We all know what a taproot is. It basically has a main root, and from main root there arises many root hairs and rootlets. Whereas in fibrous root there is no such main root, right? So if we look at this picture, the taproot is there in dicot plants. Fibrous root are found in monocot plants. And there are some another features except from parallel venation from the root. They if we okay, so if we try to cut the section of stem of monocot and dicot, if we cut very thin sections of monocot stem and dicot stem and observe under the microscope, we will see vascular tissues. In case of monocots, these vascular tissues are scattered. You can see it is a thin section of stem, and you can see the green dots. These green structures are vascular systems, consist of xylem and phloem. Whereas in case of dicots, we all can see a ring-like structure is there. So there is a certain pattern of ring-like structures in dicots. So it is basically the anatomical differentiation we are talking about. And these are the physical difference which we can just look at and identify whether the plant is monocot or dicot. Learning a lot about plants, let's see what we have learned so far. Look at this flow chart, student. By look understanding the flow chart, you can easily remember the specific characteristics of some divisions. So let's start from here. On the top, we can see plants. The diverse groups of plant are divided or classified on some criteria. One such criteria is differentiated body. On this basis, we have two divisions. Division number one, Thallophyta, and then Bryophyta. Thallophytas do not have differentiated body. Body is not divided into distinct stem, root, and leaves. Whereas Bryophyta do have differentiated body, but they not meet the second criteria, that is presence of vascular system. So basically, Bryophyta, they lack vascular tissues in them. Those with vascular tissue comes under the category of Pteridophyta and Phanerogams. Pteridophytas do have vascular tissue, but they lack seeds in them. On the other hand, Phanerogams produce seeds. So on this basis, we have two categories: Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. We all know Gymnosperm seeds are not enclosed, whereas in Angiosperm seeds are enclosed and covered, hidden. Gymnosperms are further classified on the basis of cotyledons. Those having single cotyledon called monocot, and those having two cotyledons are called dicot. So this is how you can remember the whole plant kingdom. After this, let's move to the homework. These three are your homework questions which you can write down in your notebook and revise your concepts. First question is, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms are called Phanerogams. You have to tell the reason. And in the second part, you have to draw one example of Gymnosperm. Moving to question number second, you have to classify the given seeds whether they are monocot or dicot. Third, you have to write down 5 points difference between monocots and dicots. So this was it for Kingdom Plantae. Thank you so much.